Hello, my name is Elya Rif'Ah Sholihah. My student ID number is 90. I'm from Tax Accounting Class B. So, today, I will read exchange rate, page 140 until 142. Exchange rates. A. The Bretton Woods Agreement of 1944 established fixed exchange rate, defined in terms of gold and the US dollar. Between 1944 and 1971, many currencies were pegged against the US dollar, i.e. their parities with the US dollar were fixed. In this period, a US dollar was a promissory note issued by the United States Treasury. If anybody requested it, the Treasury had to exchange the note for 1/35 of an ounce of gold. Under this system, overvalued or undervalued currencies could only be adjusted with the agreement of the International Monetary Fund. Such adjustments are called devaluation and revaluation. The Bretton Woods system of gold convertibility and pegging against the dollar was abolished in 1971 because following inflation, the Federal Reserve didn't have enough gold to guarantee the American currency. B. Gold convertibility was replaced by a system of floating exchange rate. Today, the US dollar, the unofficial world currency, is merely a piece of paper on which is written in gold with trust gold, not gold. A fairly or clean floating exchange rate is determined purely by supply and demand. Theoretically, in the absence of speculation, exchange rate should reflect purchasing power parity, the cost of a given selection of goods and service in different countries. Proponents of floating exchange rates, such as Milton Friedman, agreed that currencies would automatically establish stable exchange rate which would reflect economic realities more precisely than a calculation by central bank officials. Yet they underestimate the impact of speculation and the fact that companies and investors frequently follow short-term money market trends even if they are contrary to their own long-term interests. C. In the late 1970s and early 1970s, the American, British, and other governments deregulated the financial system and abolished all exchange control. Residents in these countries are now able to exchange any amount of their currency for any other convertible currency. This has led to the current situation in which 95% of the world's currency transactions are unrelated to transactions in goods but are purely speculative. Enormous amount of money move around the world, causing high interest rates of capital gain. As investors, including rich individuals, companies, and pension funds, seek to maximize the value of their assets. In London alone, in the late 1990s, over $300 billion worth of currency was traded on an average day, the equivalent of about 30% of the value of the goods Britain products each year. Banks, of course, make a profit from the spread between a currency's buying and selling price. D. Few governments, however, leave exchange rate wholly at the mercy of market force. Most of them attempt to influence the level of their currency when necessary. Managed or dirty floating exchange rates are more common than freely floating ones. For example, in the 1980s, most Western European governments joined the EMS or European Monetary System, which stabilized parities between member currencies. There was also an exchange rate mechanism or ERM. If the rate differed by more than plus or minus 2.14% from the central parity, central banks had to intervene in exchange market, buying or selling in order to increase or decrease the value of their currency. Yet international speculators can be more powerful than governments. For example, on a single day in September 1992, the Bank of England lost £5 billion in a hopeless attempt to support the pound sterling. For weeks, all the world's financial institutions and rich individuals had been selling their pounds, as everyone except the British government believed that the pound had been seriously overvalued ever since it belatedly joined the ERM in 1990. When the British Central Bank ran out of reserve and could no longer buy pounds, the currency was withdrawn from the ERM and allowed to float, instantly losing about 15% of its value against the D-mark. The next year, speculators attacked 5 other European countries and the European monetary system was suspended. It was later reduced in a looser form. Many manufacturers are in favor of fixed exchange rate or a single currency, although it is possible to some extent to hedge against currency fluctuation by way of future context. Forward planning is difficult when the price of raw materials bought from abroad or the price of your product in export markets can rise or fall by 50% in only a few months. Since exchange control were abolished, currency, including the US dollar and the euro sterling, have in turn appreciated by up to 100% and then depreciated by more than 50% against the currencies of major trading partners. Pressure from industrials and governments led to the introduction of the euro. 12 countries fixed their exchange rates against the new currency, and beginning in 1999, the new currency was used as a means of payment between companies and in foreign trade, and bonds were dominant in it. The euro came into existence as a real currency in 2002 when the old notes and coins in the 12 member countries were withdrawn. Maybe that's enough from me. I'm sorry if I made any mistakes. Thank you for your attention.